I am back to go over 4 prestigious records I found recently and one non-jazz record that just absolutely captivated me. If you stay tuned, I will also be discussing Sauvignon Blanc in a bite-sized format. But before I go any further, I wanted to thank you all so much for watching that last video. I was at a thrift store and I found everything from Blue Notes to a Strata East record and some really incredible pop music I didn't share. So quite a fortuitous dig at a thrift store I had been to many times and struck out. Let's talk about some of the finds I came up with. So I'm going to talk about Prestige record label out of New York. It starts in 1949 by the great Bob Weinstock. And right, if I think about great jazz record labels, we can all think about Blue Note. I would say Riverside is up there. And then definitely Prestige and Verve. I would say those 4. Obviously you have Atlantic and Capitol getting into the game too and putting out really fantastic records. But Prestige, you get Rudy Van Gelder mastering on a lot of them. You have everything from really incredible Miles Davis recordings, the great quintets. You have Red Garland, you have Gene Ammons. If you're lucky enough, you can find Mal Waldron records. Good luck with that. Those are very difficult. The Sonny Rollins stuff, come on. Tenor Madness and Saxophone Colossus, holy shish kebab. Yeah, there's just no shortage of just really incredible work. So the records I'm going to show, there'll be one that I think is really worthwhile, but these other ones are kind of a roundabout way for me to find a different artist. So the first record, Jack McDuff, Good Night, It's Time to Go. So this was a recording done in 1961. These Prestige record labels, if you have that mono copy, you get that real beautiful firework label. You saw the 203 South Washington address. This becomes a 60s press. You had a 446 West 50th Street or what have you for earlier pressings. It matters to collectors. For me, as long as the music is clean, I'm kind of happy. So this is a pristine copy. But why did I buy this? Turns out I really love this record. This record is fantastic. But I bought it because it's a Grant Green record as well. So Grant Green is on here, and you have Harold Vick on sax. You have a gentleman I wasn't as familiar with for our drummer, Joseph Thomas, but he plays very well. There's a song on here called Sanctified Waltz, and then there's a later repress of this record that is called Sanctified, and it would be worth checking out for you. It's probably can be had for not that much money, and it is very good. So that song really, really worked for me. Now, I went over to a different record store and I found the next 2 records, and wouldn't you know it, got another Brother Jack McDuff record. So Jack McDuff is born in Chicago. I think he goes into the early 2000s for his passing, but 1926-ish, I think, is when he was born. Just a great player. It's kind of one of your primary organ players, much like Blue Note was synonymous with Jimmy Smith. And this was a roundabout way for me to get some Kenny Burrell into my life. So I paid $7 for this record. There is a seam split along the top, but the record itself is very clean. Yes, and then there's some action on that inner label, the center label. But otherwise, this is good stuff. It's very soulful, very easy to listen to. Then it's just awesome to catch Kenny for sub $10. I'll take that all day. Okay, and then the next record I left with from that record store was another Prestige title. I did find the Delphonics. I found their first album, so the Philly Soul group. So that was a really nice partner with these 2. But this other Prestige find I found is very, very cool. So Bobby Jasper and Herbie Mann. Bobby Jasper, the Belgian flautist and saxophone player, with Mr. Herbie Mann, the push man, the great flautist. This opens with a song called Tel Aviv. There you go. There's another shot of the fireworks label there. Tel Aviv is a beautiful track and kind of highlights the playing. First off, it's a very plaintive style of playing. It's a much softer album in general. There's 4 tracks spread out, but I think the guy who steals the show isn't even listed on there. That's Tommy Flanagan playing the keys. Just insane. So Tommy Flanagan, much like Hank Jones, these are guys that are just those early session killers, and just really, really beautiful piano playing. And honestly, this one set me back about $25 as well. It's worth every penny and then some. It's a very beautiful album. That is an album I really, really enjoy. Setting me up for my last prestige record, and this to me is the grail amongst the bunch. I love piano jazz. I love Oscar Peterson. That was my start. Then I go kind of backward. Art Tatum, Errol Gardner, just all kinds of technicians or magicians on the keys. But then you start to learn about other guys, and you start to learn about the McCoy Tyners and Chick Corea, and then in between the Hank Jones and Tommy Flanagan, Bobby Timmons, a really incredible pianist, Jackie Byard. There's just no shortage, right? But one of the guys that's kind of recently stolen my heart, also for kind of his soulful and sweet sound, part of that original quintet, Mr. Red Garland. So great pianist. This is Red Garland's piano, and this is with Paul Chambers and Art Taylor. This is not an original, but instead an early 1963 press. This session came out in 1958. Unbelievable. I had an OJC for a couple years, and I loved it. I played it all the time. Those OJCs sound fantastic. Crazy thing is, right, the OJCs have kind of gotten away from what they, I guess, were intended to be, which was a value so that collectors and other people could have a chance to hear the music and not have to spend so much for these original prestige or whatever titles. I paid $25 for this, so I paid more for my OJC than this early 60s mono repress, and I'm gonna be honest with you. This thing is excellent. Jacket's excellent, and the music is about as close to near mint as possible. It sounds beautiful, and when we're talking jazz piano trio, I need it quiet, just like my classical. So, unbelievable record, paid $25 for this. Amazing record. Okay, and this is gonna set up the last record for me. Not a jazz album, surprisingly. I found this at a thrift store, and then the craziest part is I found it at a thrift store where I had found it 1 year prior, and I found the first 3 albums from this gentleman, and I just traded them away for a jazz record. This time when I found it, I thought it was a sign, because it's like I found it at the exact same thrift store, paid $3 for it. It's in superb shape, and really just incredible material. Of course, I'm talking about Emmett Rhodes, the self-titled 1970 release off ABC Dunhill. This is a phenomenal record. If you're a fan of the Beatles, if you are a fan of the Byrds, if you are a fan, let's go current. Let's go Elephant Six Records, Elephant Six Collective out of Georgia there. You know, like I can see Apples in Stereo. I can see all kinds of different links. This is a unbelievable record. I believe it's titled Power Pop, but I don't want to get lost in the title. It's just very folky. There's some Harry Nilsson kind of vibes in there. The opening track with My Face on the Floor just kind of sets you up for just an awesome experience. So this one will not be traded away from the collection. I am so happy to have it, as am I with all of the records I found most recently. Again, I'm going to be heading into wine now, but thank you so much for watching that last video, and on to Sauvignon Blanc. All right, regarding the wine, we're discussing Sauvignon Blanc today. And so Sauvignon Blanc begins its journey in France. I think of the village of Sancerre, but there are some conflicting stories. So Sancerre is based in the Loire in the northwest, but some people do say that it might have originated in Bordeaux in the southwest. Two very different expressions of Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc is an international grape, so we can see it from France to New Zealand, to Chile, to Argentina, California. You get the drift. Every winemaking region probably can represent Sauvignon Blanc and kind of give you an alternate version of it. I would say what to expect: a light to medium bodied white wine. I would say some sort of apple, more of a green apple in character. You can find tropical flavors in warmer areas. You can get kind of a peachier style of Sauv Blanc in a very warm area, which is nice too. Peach, apricot, but I go more apple, more green apple. There's some sort of citrus, so you can get lemon or lime, and then definitely always a mineral character, so some sort of wet stone, wet rocks, river, that kind of vibe. And frequently Sauvignon Blanc can't be without herbal characteristics. So in its most offensive, like a straight up jalapeno or bell pepper in an underripe form, or we can kind of do, you know, maybe some rubbed herbs, something like that in a much more complex expression. The best part about Sauvignon Blanc is its affordability. I could send you off to the grocery store right now so that you too could listen to Red Garland's piano, and as you're spinning it, sip on some Sancerre. Sancerre would set you back around $30, but if I got you to get a Terrain Sauv Blanc from the grocery store, you're looking at $10. $10, you get yourself a little log of goat cheese, something kind of neutral and easy. Don't get one of those flavored with cranberries and all the crap on top of it. Just do neutral and watch how those two dance. Something from the Loire, they grow goat cheese there, so it's a beautiful pairing, the tang, the freshness. But yeah, just look forward to Sauvignon Blanc the next time you're out. Delicious wine. Again, I know we're moving into fall, but it does work very well with vegetables, especially in some of those more herbal expressions. But yeah, that's it. Look for your bottle of Sancerre. Go enjoy some prestige records. Until I see you again, have a great one. All right? Bye-bye.